Hello everyone, Zora Now Rocks is here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Assassin's Creed games. Yes, I think I mentioned in another video I was going to talk about the Assassin's Creed games in general. What the footage that you're actually seeing in the background is 40 minutes of footage I got from Assassin's Creed 4. So there's going to be random stuff going on in the background just to keep your mind entertained for the most part. This is basically just a commentary, but this turned out to be post commentary. It was going to be live. I was going to be playing Assassin's Creed 4 while I'm talking about it, but it started to feel like one of my Is It Worth It videos. And because of that, I didn't necessarily focus on the other Assassin's Creed games. I kept talking about 4 while this was going on. So with that being said, I have no idea what's going on in the background because I haven't edited anything in while at the time of me recording this audio, so I do apologize for that. Alright, bit out of breath lately. I just finished running, so whew, I'm actually trying to calm down right now. Okay, so let's talk about the Assassin's Creed games. This is going to be just like the infamous games video. Basically, I'm going to go over what I think about the old ones, as well as what I think about the recent ones that came out, as well as the new ones that are going to come out. Assassin's Creed Unity and Assassin's Creed Rogue. So with that being said, I am a recent fan of the Assassin's Creed series. Yeah, I started being a fan in 2012, but I started playing the game in about, I think 2007 was the original Assassin's Creed came out, the one with Altair. Yeah, I didn't like it. Believe it or not, I did not like the original Assassin's Creed. To this day, I still don't like the original Assassin's Creed. I always felt like it was a game that had potential. There were some nice ideas behind it. I like the ideas of there being these secret societies, even though that one society has a castle and the other one is a known knights group known as the Templar Order. But I like how this order sort of continues throughout time. But of course, at the first game, I wasn't really worried about the modern day stuff. It was mostly that stuff that was happening in the past. I don't think it was my game, because I didn't buy the first Assassin's Creed until around 2012. So like the end of 2012, early 2013, I think. I finally decided to buy all the rest of the Assassin's Creed games because I actually like 3 a good bit. Now, yeah, I know people like Altair and everything. I thought he was pretty dull. He was definitely a jerk in the beginning. He turns around more towards the end of the game. He becomes more conscious of the people around him, and he starts to care more about his surroundings and what's going on with his comrade, so to speak, his brotherhood. And I like the slow development of the character over the course of murdering people, over the course of his assassinations that he had to do after he's been demoted and he has to reclaim his rank in the Assassin Order as an assassin master. I thought that was fine, especially for a character development. But I have to say, the story in the first Assassin's Creed was so easy. I mean, literally, after the second assassination, I think there's only about 5 or 6 out of the I can't speak. Out of the second assassination, I knew right away who the bad guy was. I knew exactly how the game would end it, and then when it happened, I was totally pissed off. I was like, okay, this was too predictable. It was repetitive. Far as it being on what was considered the next-gen system at the time, the PS3 and Xbox 360, it looked fine. It was actually pretty good-looking game. First time experienced it in HD and stuff like that. You know, it was really good. It was really good. As a show-offy project for the next-gen system at the time. But as much as I think graphics is important in a game, it also boils down to the gameplay mostly, because you're going to be playing the game on a controller or on a keyboard or whatever you're playing it on. And because of this, I found myself being really bored with what was going on. Like I said, the story was predictable. I knew exactly where it was going to go, so that didn't entertain me. So what was left was the gameplay, and unfortunately the gameplay was a little lackluster in my opinion, the fighting as well as the movement. The character couldn't swim, for God's sakes. Thank God they actually made that up in Assassin's Creed 2 by saying that, oh well, the game that you was playing it on was through an outdated system or whatever. That was actually pretty clever of them to do that. Of course, continuing with the modern day era type stuff. As far as that goes, yeah, the first Assassin's Creed didn't appeal to me, although I thought that it had potential as a game and as a gaming series. So of course the second one comes out, I skipped over that. It wasn't until the third one I actually came back to the franchise. And the third one made so many improvements, in my opinion, even though I didn't know that Assassin's Creed 2 was the real one that made all the improvements, and Brotherhood continued that, as well as Revelations just kind of being a clone of Brotherhood. But let me start back from the beginning. So, Assassin's Creed 2, I played it. I literally think it's the best Assassin's Creed game, hands down. I still, to this day, think it's the best Assassin's Creed game, and you saw me talk about 4. I've talked about Assassin's Creed 4 and how well it's done and how amazing it looks. I went into detail about it for, I don't think I made a video about that. I don't think I went full into detail on the last video I talked about. No. I think I was actually talking to somebody else at the time, and I told them what I thought about the game. But I haven't made an is it worth a video or anything like that because, well, you got 2 Assassin's Creed games coming out next week. So there really is no point in me doing that now. If I were to do a review on anything, it'd possibly be one of the Assassin's Creed games that come out next week, whether it's Unity or Rogue. And it's most likely going to have to be Rogue because I do not have a next-gen system to play Unity on. But anyway, going back to Assassin's Creed 2. Really good stuff. Better main character. Better storyline. Better purpose. I really didn't get the point of the Brotherhood in the first one and why they was doing this until towards the end of the game, and even then, by the time that happened, I didn't even care. Once I figured out who the bad guy was, I was like, I don't care. I really don't. Assassin's Creed 2 made me care. Assassin's Creed 2 even though I played 3 first, 2 was the one that actually really made me care. It was to the point where I was like, okay, I want this character. I want to see what's going to go on with this character. I want to see him go on to do great things, and I want to be a witness to that. The fighting was improved, as well as you being able to swim. I know it's a minor thing, but hell, it's an open world game that was made in 2007. You'd think there would be a standard now. If Kingdom Hearts can do it, you can do it. With Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, this is when it started to feel like, okay, they're doing this thing sort of every year. It was good. It was good. It was next to Assassin's Creed 2. It's definitely up there with one of the best. The combat system was improved. The counter system actually pretty much became what it is today thanks to Brotherhood, which first started that, which made it so much easier to fight, honestly. Assassin's Creed 2 was, I mean, the combat system was already easy within itself, and Assassin's Creed 2 was easy for the most part. But Brotherhood was when it really became, okay, I can stand back and counter and counter. You guys probably seen me made a couple of videos with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Like, it had some funny glitches in it, like the horse walking on water, which seems to be a real popular one. There was the one of me trying to get a gold medal on some of the challenges, which is impossible to this day. I still have not gotten that gold medal. By all means, you can check that video out if you haven't seen it yet. And yeah, it's little stuff like that. You could just stand back and literally just counter everything. I was like, okay, I like the system, but it makes the game unbelievably easy. Unfortunately, Ubisoft did not think about changing that until the year 2014, until Assassin's Creed Unity was released. But with that being said, Brotherhood was really fun. I found the story enjoyable. Once again, the main character continues to be a delight to just be around. And just witnessing everything that goes on during that time period is fantastic, as well as the location, it being Rome. I prefer Renaissance Italy over Rome from Assassin's Creed 2, but I'm not going to lie, it did have a good location. They actually made Rome interesting, ancient Rome, even though it's not during the times of the gladiators and the Colosseum. Moving on, we get to Assassin's Creed Revelations. Now, this is the one that made people sort of, I guess, shake their heads at a lot. There's a lot of people that don't like it. It's mostly overlooked. Not as overlooked as something like Assassin's Creed Liberation, but it's one of the overlooked ones, even if it has a great main character still. The same guy is in Revelations. Ezio Auditore. Continues his journey as an assassin. He is now an assassin master, and he is training a number of proteges, which will mostly take over the mantle once he's gone, because at this point in time, I think he's about 55 years old. Yeah, and he's still able to kick ass and somehow beat every young person there is in the game with little effort. Whether it's combat or whether it's racing, it's unbelievable how he's just able to just totally take control of the situation. Of course, as over the top as Revelation was, that didn't save it too much from its storyline. The stuff with Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed 2, it followed a formula. It followed the formula, and it followed a certain family, the Borgias, as well as other Templar enemies, but the Borgias were really an interesting part of the games. They was possibly the most interesting family you deal with throughout the entirety of the games. Now it's mostly just this random Templar this random Templar that, or getting revenge on this Templar. But at the time, you know, that was a big thing. And the Borgias, of course, was voice acted very well as the storyline being interesting. Revelations didn't have that. Revelations had, besides a couple of characters which were interesting to me, Revelations' whole story about the Ottoman Empire, this is something I didn't know about, the Byzantine government. This is stuff that takes place in Constantinople and Israel and those places over there in Europe that I wouldn't say have no interest in. The Ottoman Empire stuff I never found interest in. The Sultan and all that stuff, no. The only time I even find anything with the word Sultan interesting is Aladdin. but looking at Revelations, looking at it again, because I just played it not too long ago, it's not that bad. I think it didn't introduce enough stuff. I do like the tower defense system that was introduced into the game. That was one of the mechanics. But it rarely happens. Especially if you have an assassin level recruit, they can defend that district, and there will be no more attacks on that district at all. Which means that the tower defense system that you so well implemented is only used about twice in the game, and that's only because the story mode requires it. Actually, I think the story mode requires it once. I think there was only one time where I actually got attacked. Otherwise, that mode is completely useless. So you put a whole tower defense system into the game, and as a mini-game, basically, and we don't even get to play it. It's unbelievable. Such hard work gone into that, and it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. Of course, the assassin recruits have been upgraded as far as like them actually having voice actors now. Well, they had voice actors before, but actually you going on missions with them and training them. There's 2 missions per assassin recruit. There's a number of assassin recruits that you can go to. I cannot remember. I think it is 6 because there are 6 districts. 6 or 7. I cannot remember. But, yeah, I like that idea. I like the idea of there being a brotherhood again, which you haven't seen since the first Assassin's Creed, even though that the one after Assassin's Creed 2 was called Brotherhood. I still felt like I was doing mostly all the work. Of course, that's when the whole Assassin Recruits was introduced, and that was a really cool mechanic, but yeah, Revelations felt more on the Brotherhood emphasis, since there was like structures that will cut you off from the Brotherhood. You know, there'd be a Templar, Present Turf, you know, there was basically like gangs, and for some reason, I like that. I like them more in the open. But of course, as time goes on, they have to make them more concealed and whatnot, because they have to go with what happens with our time. Like, if we literally saw Assassins and Templars running around right now, yeah, pretty much all of them will be in jail. Or just plain dead. That wouldn't go on for too long. But, yeah, I like the idea of the Brotherhood actually stepping out into the light and people knowing who the assassins are and whatnot. That's about it. That's about all that got for me. The hook blade idea was actually pretty funny. It's a little ridiculous. You will never see the hook blade in an Assassin's Creed game again. It must not have gotten a lot of praise in Revelations. I thought it was pretty neat, but whatever. I'd rather have the standard stealth blade that assassins normally get. So yeah, so Revelations came and went, of course, making Ezio even a bigger character. There's a bunch of novels I can talk about, which I won't. I'm just going to keep it mostly consistent with the game. I have read the novels. They are actually a good read. If you manage to find the Assassin's Creed novels, by all means, go ahead and pick them up. You can possibly find some off of Amazon. Really good read. They tell mostly the gaps in between the games, which is good because there were some questions that was left within the games. But moving on to Revelations, to the big one, so to speak. Assassin's Creed 3. Yes. This is the one that's got people split down the middle, or mostly saying fail, let me say. The majority of the people, let's say the majority is people that don't like it, or think that there was a lot of problems with it, or they want it to go back to the old style of Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed 3 to me, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed my time with it. You know, I tell people that, I'm even like, well, to be honest, I like Connor's character, Connor the assassin, Rentanagedon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I try to avoid pronouncing his real name. Even though as someone who's part Native American, I still can't pronounce that. Anyway, even with Connor's character, I'm not going to lie, I still like him than Altair. Altair is literally, I know he was the first assassin, and there's like this big emphasis on Altair and everything, even in some of the new trailers, you know. You will still get his costume, you still see his costume, they talk about him in almost every game. I didn't care for Altair in the first game. Now, there was flashback... excuse me. There was flashback episodes / gameplay within Revelations that finished the story of Altair all the way to his death at 92. That's the part I like. I like old Altair. Young Altair I did like. Maybe it's because they got a different voice actor who seemed to be, I don't know, more interested in what the hell he was doing. I didn't really care for the first voice of Altair too much. I apologize, I do not know who the guy is. I don't know who the second guy is, but I actually prefer him over the other guy. Altair seems to actually show emotion for once, it seems. There's this unpredictableness about his part in Revelations, as to opposed to in the first game where I predicted what exactly was going to happen. That's what didn't make me happy. But this, in Revelations, it did. It was fine. I actually thought it was a nice part of Revelations, if not the best part of Revelations. But going back to Assassin's Creed 3, yeah, this was the one that gets a lot of controversy as far as amongst Assassin's Creed fans, as far as whether it's good or whether it's bad or things like that. I said I personally like it. My thing is that I find the whole revolution aspect interesting. I find assassins and Templars being involved within wars interesting. I don't know why. Which is why I'm interested to see what an assassin will be like during World War II time, but that's another thing. I think Assassin's Creed Unity is going to take care of that with the recent trailer that they released. But anyway, getting off topic here, getting off track, so to speak. With Assassin's Creed 3, it started to bring in something different. You got the frontier now, the whole building system was gone to incline the jumping off trees. Renaissance era rooftop to rooftop movement over jumping from branch to branch on trees. Yeah, the tree system was a nice idea and can actually work in other Assassin's Creed games. Yeah, why can't they, maneuver on trees? That's fine. You did that fine. But there's no doubt that there's this sense of real movability in the older Assassin's Creed games from jumping rooftop to rooftop. There was some of that in Assassin's Creed 3, but for almost every moment seems like somebody telling you to get off the roof. Of course I ignore them and I still jump from rooftop to rooftop, but a lot of them are kind of separated. And to build more of an emphasis on jumping from tree to tree. Now there's a whole thing with the storyline. The storyline is of course divided as well. I thought the story was really good. To be honest. I liked it a lot more than Revelations. It's probably up there with Brotherhood, which is like my second favorite story. Well, Assassin's Creed 4 is like my second favorite now. But it's definitely up there with Brotherhood as far as storyline to me. Only because of the villains. The villains whose side you actually get to play on at the beginning of the game. Great twist, Ubisoft. Absolutely beautiful twist in the beginning of the game. Really smart stuff. And then having to be on a team with these people and then fight them later on, of course as a new character, that's something interesting. I like this. I like the idea of you getting to see both sides of the spectrum. In the older Assassin's Creed games, it was just Templars are bad, Assassins are good. That's it. But now the games are going to the point where it's like, oh, okay, maybe the Templars aren't as different as we thought they would. Maybe they're actually looking out for the interests of people. Of course, they do still want personal gain. There is no denying that. Some people are just only in the Templars because they have a lot of money. Some people are in the Templars because they do believe in the Templar cause, but still think that they should be the one ruling. Oh, there should be peace, but we should rule that peace somehow. Yeah, I think Edward in Assassin's Creed 4 said it well when he said that you Templars are basically all the same. All you want a safe world. Mankind basically being balled up into a corner. Safe, but dull. And that's basically how it is. I didn't say that word for word exactly, so I'm just sort of catchphrasing there. Paraphrasing, excuse me. So that's not an exact quote for him, but that's basically what he was getting at. It was that it was either be free or be dull. And do it our way, follow us, so to speak. That's what the Templar Order is about. Even though they have the right mindset as far as, hey, we want peace, just like the Assassins, there's just that little differentiate between the two groups that causes such conflict to the point they're willing to kill each other. And Assassin's Creed 3 asked all these questions, They propose all these questions to the point where people are just like, maybe the Templars aren't so bad. There are actually some fans that support the Templars, even though that they're murdering them. And That's understandable. You do get to see their side of things for once, and you actually find yourself agreeing with them, or agreeing with them more so than the assassins. That's really smart. It's some of the other stuff in Assassin's Creed 3 that people don't like, such as Connor's personality. The frontier isn't as interesting as jumping off rooftops and stuff like that. I do like the whole animal system in the game. I thought that was pretty nice. I thought the frontier was mostly like a reminiscent of Red Dead Redemption. There's a lot of stuff that seemed like it was a reminiscent of Red Dead Redemption. And because of that, it made it even more of a clone of a Rockstar game. At least them trying to be a clone of a Rockstar game instead of being, you know, Assassin's Creed like they were supposed to. And that's understand why people can, you know, not be too excited about AC3. As well as the naval combat. Okay, I thought that was the best part of the game. I wish they could have expanded on it a little bit more. They do so in Assassin's Creed 4, and I'll get to that in a minute, but when it was first introduced, I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought they was doing some really smart stuff, introducing a new system like that, and that was the gimmick for, or should have been the gimmick for Assassin's Creed 3. Yeah, the Templars may not be so evil, that's a fine point and a gimmick that you can give for the game, but the other gimmick should definitely been the naval combat, and it felt like a small portion. You could actually complete the entire game without doing any of those missions. That's how small a portion it felt. And it's odd because they actually do go by the storyline. If you perform them correctly, you will be going at the same pace as the story. And you will even take out the Templar that's behind the naval contract missions. Why wasn't this, you know, more free roam? It seems like they really did the Caribbean pretty well, or at least the East Coast that you use pretty well. But Ubisoft always been good at making water and landscapes and stuff like that. So their company's been always good at making those graphics look really real. And even for the PS3 at the time, you know, it was really good. It was really good looking. I don't know how it looked on PC, but yeah, I really enjoyed that. I just wish we got more of it. And we do get more of it. And Assassin's Creed 4, we get a lot more of it. So much more that it feels like that's all there is. And that's the thing with Assassin's Creed 4. Oh, yes, it has a good storyline. It has a interesting main character. Great side characters. And pretty much everyone in this game I like. It's impossible to hate them. Even if you might have to kill them later. And that goes for the bad guys as well in the game. Of course, who are the Templars. It goes back to form as far as, hey, we're not doing like, hey, maybe the Templars aren't so bad sort of thing. No. These Templars are assholes. They gotta go. Okay? Even if they do still do some of the policy of, oh, you know, we're not into slavery and stuff like that. Enslaving a man's mind is more better than just enslaving his body. That sort of thing, but yeah, you're assholes. You're basically evil. Okay, so those guys have to die. So they went back to the formula of, we're going to just make the assassins good and the Templars evil. But with that also being said, it seemed like the Assassins and the Templars are only in the game, in Assassin's Creed 4, as sort of side stuff.
You deserve nothing
You'd be
less.
mostly spending your time doing a lot of pirate stuff, and that's basically what it is. It's a pirate game that's just somehow got thrown in with Assassin's Creed storyline. And you'll see, and of course the modern day stuff does follow the whole Assassin's Creed formula, but it seems like the modern day stuff didn't even need to be there because it goes by so quickly unless you're doing some extra things in that world. If you're not, it goes by really quickly just so you can get back to the past gameplay and enjoy the free roamness that is the golden age of piracy. And that's basically it. The Assassins and Templars, like the main fight, literally doesn't come until towards the end of the game. And there's only like, what, 5 or 7 missions left. And that's it. Don't mean to bust your bubble there, but it's not an assassin game. It's a pirate game that for some reason they didn't think was going to sell well, so they threw in the whole assassin aspect and changed the main character's name to resemble the character that they already had established in Assassin's Creed. Odd. Very odd, but a good game nonetheless. It's a game that I've recommended to a number of people, countless times actually. Even now, I have it on PS3 and I want to get it on PS4 just so I can play through it again. I'm planning on starting the game over just to play through it again before any of the new Assassin's Creeds come out, just to sort of celebrate its release. But as far as gameplay and stuff, I don't think I'm going to put it up on this channel. Besides, right now, what you see is what you get. And this is basically like 40 minutes of gameplay. I don't know how long I'm going on here. I think I'm going on for at least 31 minutes here of me commentating over this gameplay. I'm possibly just going to post this up just with it being edited down and my commentary being removed, because Assassin's Creed 4 is a great game. I am glad it did well because it deserved it. I really was hoping Assassin's Creed go back to form. It didn't feel like there was no Assassin's Creed game that can match up the two. As you can see, I didn't even speak about Liberation. That's mostly because I didn't play Assassin's Creed Liberation. I watched a complete walkthrough on it and I was completely bored with it. So, not because it was a walkthrough, but because what was going on particularly was not interesting to me at all. My throat is actually getting sore from talking so much. I haven't talked like this in a while. Yes. Okay. So, wrapping it up with Assassin's Creed 4, it's good. It's good. It's hands down, it's good. The naval combat is definitely its strongest. There are some better additions, other additions that's been added onto it. And I think the weakest part of it has to be the man-on-man combat, the fighting mechanic. My God, they made it simpler. How is that possible? A mechanic like Assassin's Creed, which has already been a simple fighting mechanic, is dumbed down even more for this one. It's unbelievable. And Assassin's Creed, at least I can say, well, in Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood, if you try to attack them too many times, the AI will dodge out the way and there'll be like this little animation of them dodging and the character swiping at them. That was pretty neat. What happened to that? Nope. Button mash or just counter and kill them. It's ridiculously easy, and it seemed like Assassin's Creed Rogue, which takes a lot from Assassin's Creed 4, mostly to the point where people are calling it Assassin's Creed 4.5, and rightfully so. It seems like that one's going to follow the same formula, and I hope to God that they make it more so like... Sorry, I just hit something here with my foot. Make it more so like Assassin's Creed 3. Literally, Assassin's Creed 3 had more of a complicated system, and people complained about that. People really complained about Assassin's Creed. Actually, I didn't hear as many complaints about Assassin's Creed 4 because the story and the naval combat kept you interested to the point where, and the free roam system, like looking for buried treasure and stuff like that, really brilliant stuff. But let's call a spade a spade. The fighting is lackluster. The fighting was so much better in Assassin's Creed 3. I don't know what the hell they thought they was doing it for. But even with that being said, I immensely enjoyed my time with the game, from beginning to end. Okay guys, we're actually coming down to the wire here. I'm running out of gameplay, the last little bit of gameplay. Won't be important, maybe I'll put it in a separate video or something like that. Possibly not me commentating over it, just some of me just fighting or whatever. But the two games that are coming out next week is Assassin's Creed Unity as well as Assassin's Creed Rogue. I'm looking forward to both of these games, actually. I would like to get both of those games, but that's pretty expensive for me. And not just that, like I said before earlier in the video, I do not have a next-gen system, so I won't be able to play Unity until I get one. As far as Rogue Go, yeah, I can buy that. I'm not pre-ordering it. I don't even pre-order games anymore. You know, I already talked about in my recent Call of Duty video that about me not supporting certain policies of companies, and that's one of them. I usually don't pre-order stuff anymore unless I really, really want the game. It has to be something like Kingdom Hearts, or let's say something like Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, I will pre-order that. I will not pre-order a lot of games, so that's rare. So I don't know what's the extra content that you get with the pre-order and stuff, and I personally don't care. You know, Ubisoft throwing DLC at you, yeah, that's not surprising. Way before the game comes out, yeah, that's not surprising. As far as the storylines go, I'm interested in both, but stop me if you heard this before. Assassin's Creed Unity is about an assassin that's trying to find out what happened to his murdered father and get revenge on the person that did so. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this happened twice in the Assassin's Creed series, with both Ezio Auditore and Haytham Kenway from Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed Rogue. It's unbelievable how they're following that formula again, but it feels more Assassin's Creed 2-ish, which is good. That's what people want. People want the classic rooftop jumping and running through buildings that Assassin's Creed 3 introduced, but even more of an interior-based, which is something that Assassin's Creed 4 didn't have, because you mostly spend your time on the open sea in Assassin's Creed 4. So that was understandable. But the idea of going into buildings and whatnot and walking around and communicating with people or solving mysteries and murder mysteries and things like that, really, really good stuff. I personally like that idea a lot. So I think gameplay-wise, Assassin's Creed Unity is definitely going to be better than Rogue. But Rogue's storyline is pretty interesting to me. Why? Well, mostly because, yeah, it's a sequel to Assassin's Creed 4, as well as a prequel to Assassin's Creed 3. It's also going to end the Kenway saga, but it's supposed to be a connection to Assassin's Creed Unity somehow. That's going to be pretty interesting. I also like the idea of this assassin turned Templar, Shay McCormick. I don't know about his accent though. I know he's supposed to be Irish, but it seems like the voice actor is trying really hard. But I'm sorry, man. I'm just not feeling it. Maybe when I play the full game and I can actually hear his voice a little bit more, I can possibly change my mind on that. But yeah, I'm not feeling that at all. So the whole point of him supposedly turning into a Templar, which hasn't, God, what I keep hitting that, which hasn't been explored since actually Revelations. Revelations, I think, was the first time he introduced a side character, which was an assassin turned Templar. And I always found that fascinating, because you never usually see that. Or even if you do see that, they're mostly side characters. To have a main character become a Templar, even though it seems like a bullshit reason why he does it, I would actually like to see where this idea goes. Why did he become a Templar? What are the different benefits of working with the Templars? How does it feel to fight an assassin? Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of like the Assassin's Creed, the acclaimed Assassin's Creed multiplayer, which I've never played except for in Assassin's Creed 3, and to be honest, I didn't like it. But a lot of people like that, and to see them introduce that mechanic within the single player, that's going to be pretty interesting. I actually want to see how that plays out, even more so than Assassin's Creed Unity storyline, which is sort of like this love revenge-ish story. But okay, guys, that's it for my Assassin's Creed games video. I would like to thank you for checking it out. If you did, if you've sat through the whole thing, you are an amazing person. This was a big old ramble, but this was also me talking about the Assassin's Creed games and sort of reviewing them in a way. Okay, guys, I really appreciate you checking it out. I had fun talking about this. I'm possibly not going to do a long one like this in a while, okay? I think I'm losing my voice here. Alright, before I talk any further and hurt my throat even more, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.
It's over now. You can go.
Keep your distance and use more fire! On full mains, let's move! Ready, Captain!